Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine some of the wildest, most out there science fiction you've ever read.
Mhm.
Now, what if I told you that a good chunk of it wasn't just cooked up by folks with wild imaginations, but by actual scientists?
Right. People with deep knowledge in their fields.
Exactly. People who really understood the science behind the fiction. It kind of begs the question, what happens when that hardcore scientific know-how meets, the limitless realm of storytelling?
It's where the magic truly happens, I think. When you have someone with a deep understanding of, say, physics or biology,
Yeah.
and they also have that creative spark. The sci-fi they produce can be incredibly potent. It's not just about cool gadgets or spaceships.
Yeah.
It's more about exploring the logical and often really surprising consequences of scientific principles.
Yeah.
And they do it with a level of rigor you might not find elsewhere.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. We've gathered some fascinating material on 5 classic science fiction novels, all written by scientists. Our mission really is to unearth the key insights, those kind of unexpected connections between their scientific expertise and their storytelling. Think of this as your shortcut, maybe. A way to get a solid grasp on these incredible books and the brilliant minds behind them.
Yeah, and if you're someone who loves those aha moments
Which I definitely am.
and, expanding your knowledge without feeling totally overwhelmed, this should be right up your alley.
Exactly. You're in the right place.
These authors weren't just like throwing darts at a board of futuristic concepts. They were grounding their stories in what they knew.
Their deep understanding of chemistry, physics, biology, astronomy.
Yeah, that foundation of actual scientific knowledge adds this fascinating layer of depth to their imaginative worlds. It's really something.
So buckle up. We're about to embark on a journey. It spans from a world that's forever bathed in light to the really perplexing nature of time travel. From encounters with truly alien intelligences to, well, fundamental questions about consciousness and the intricate web of life itself.
And our guides for this. 5 pretty remarkable individuals.
Right. We've got Isaac Asimov, the chemistry genius, who is also, let's face it, a literary supernova.
Unbelievable output.
Then Gregory Benford, the plasma physicist, wasn't afraid to stir the pot with his ideas.
Definitely not.
Peter Watts, the marine biologist who takes us to some dark, really thought-provoking corners of the cosmos.
Beat dark corners.
Joan Slonczewski, the biology professor, conjuring up these incredibly detailed biological futures.
Fascinating stuff.
And of course, Carl Sagan, the astronomy titan who made the universe accessible to pretty much everyone.
Each one brings a unique lens, shaped by years of actual scientific work.
Yeah.
And what's truly compelling is seeing how that profound understanding of their specific fields just permeates their fiction.
It's not just the tech, right?
No, not at all. It influences the underlying themes, the way characters interact with the universe, the whole fabric of the story.
So our mission for this deep dive is pretty straightforward. Reveal how these brilliant scientists use their expertise to craft such compelling science fiction.
Figure out what makes these particular novels stand out.
And maybe why they continue to spark our imaginations and make us think long after we've finished reading them.
Okay, where should we start? Maybe with Asimov, Nightfall.
Right, Asimov. The guy was just a writing machine over 500 books. It's almost unbelievable.
It really is hard to fathom.
But before he became this literary legend, he actually earned his PhD in chemistry.
Right, and held academic positions too. Boston University School of Medicine, I think.
Yeah, a tenured professorship even. Think about that commitment. Even someone like Carl Sagan, a mind of extraordinary caliber himself, considered Asimov one of the most intelligent people he knew. That's some serious praise.
It truly is. And Nightfall, even just the original short story.
Yeah, the famous one.
It's a perfect example of Asimov's sharp scientific mind applied to this fascinating what-if scenario.
So the premise is this planet orbiting multiple stars. So it's basically always daytime there.
Constant sunlight. True darkness is, like, mythical, something you only find deep underground.
Wow.
And this leads to a civilization with this deeply ingrained, almost visceral fear of the dark. Doesn't that make you think about our own societal blind spots, things we take for granted?
Absolutely. And here's where it gets really interesting. The story revolves around this incredibly rare alignment of the stars.
An eclipse,
Yeah.
essentially, but involving all their suns.
Right, an event that will plunge the entire planet into total darkness for the first time in, thousands of years?
Exactly. And you can only begin to imagine the sheer terror, the societal upheaval.
It's not just a monster under the bed story.
No, far from it. It's a profound exploration of psychological social breakdown, an entire civilization confronted with something completely outside their experience.
Utterly outside their understanding.
Precisely. It's a masterful demonstration of how this one seemingly fixed aspect of their environment, constant light, shaped everything, their culture, their psychology.
And when that constant is suddenly yanked away,
The whole structure just collapses. It's classic, hard science fiction. Takes a plausible scientific premise, this unique star system, and just rigorously explores the consequences.
the societal ones, the psychological ones.
All of it.
And we should mention, this isn't some obscure story. The original short story is, like, legendary, often voted one of the greatest sci-fi shorts ever.
Right, the SFWA poll before 65, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, should we shift gears? Maybe talk about Gregory Benford's Timescape.
Benford. He's a really intriguing figure, emeritus professor of physics at UC Irvine.
Plasma physics, right. A big name in that field.
Over 200 scientific publications, and apparently not shy about putting forward controversial ideas.
Like dimming the sun to fight climate change. That was one of his, wasn't it?
I think so. Radical stuff, and get this, his twin brother, also a scientist and a science fiction writer.
Wow, must run in the family. That fascination with science and the speculative.
Seems like it.
And Benford often directly uses bits of his own research in his fiction. Timescape is a perfect example.
So what's the core idea there?
Well, it unfolds across two timelines. There's 1998, where Earth is basically on the brink of ecological collapse. And then there's 1962, where scientists start picking up this weird, faint, garbled message
From the future.
from that collapsing 1998, sent back using faster-than-light tachyons.
Whoa, okay. Tachyons. Theoretical particles.
Exactly. So the folks in 98 are desperately trying to warn the past to avert the disaster. But they're also grappling with all the paradoxes of changing time.
And the people in 62 have to figure out what this garbled mess is.
Right. It's a great reminder that scientific progress isn't always just eureka moments. It's often slow, painstaking work full of skepticism,
Yeah.
trying to convince people.
So it's not just a simple time travel story. It's about the challenge of communication across time.
Using theoretical physics, yeah. And the practical difficulties. How do you even interpret a signal like that in 1962?
This is where Benford's physics background really comes through.
Oh, absolutely. He meticulously explores the potential scientific hurdles. He grounds the really speculative stuff, like the tachyons, in plausible scientific thinking, even if it's highly theoretical.
And what's also fascinating, you mentioned, is the portrayal of academic life.
Yes. The main character in the 1962 timeline, Gordon Bernstein,
Yeah.
he faces so much skepticism from colleagues.
Bureaucracy.
Tons of it, professional setbacks. He's struggling just to get people to take the message seriously, let alone decipher it.
It really shows that even potentially world-changing discoveries face this huge uphill battle for acceptance.
Exactly. It feels very real, that aspect of it, the human side of science.
It's a powerful reminder, yeah, that even revolutionary ideas need perseverance. And Timescape wasn't just scientifically solid, it won the Nebula Award, right?
It did, a major award. Plus, it gave us Benford's law of controversy.
Oh yeah, what was that again?
Passion is inversely proportional to the amount of real information available.
Uh-huh. That's pretty insightful. Explains a lot of online debates, maybe.
Absolutely. Speaks volumes about how we latch onto opinions when facts are scarce. Okay, so from time travel, should we venture into something maybe darker, more philosophically tricky? Peter Watts' Blindsight.
Peter Watts, okay. Another scientist turned writer, PhD in marine biology.
Right. Did research at UBC.
He's also known for having a bit of an unconventional public persona, let's say.
Yeah, there's been some controversy there.
Yeah.
But focusing on the book, Blindsight, it didn't sweep the major awards, but many see it as his most significant work.
Yeah.
Really thought-provoking.
And he often puts his books online for free, right? Creative Commons.
He does, which is pretty cool. So Blindsight basically throws you into 2082.
Yeah.
Humanity detects something weird out in the Oort cloud.
Way out there.
Yeah, looks like an alien intelligence. But this is not your feel-good first contact story.
Doesn't sound like it with Watts.
No. He puts together this really unusual crew of transhuman specialists to go investigate.
Transhuman, okay, like modified human.
Deeply modified. There's a cybernetic biologist, a linguist, who literally has multiple distinct personalities in one head.
Wow.
Even a resurrected vampire, sort of, acting as the mission commander.
A vampire, seriously. Okay, Watts is definitely pushing boundaries. This is where it gets really deep, right? The philosophy.
Totally. The novel just dives headfirst into the nature of consciousness and intelligence. Watts uses his scientific background, but also philosophy, to ask, is this alien intelligence they find even self-aware in the way we understand it?
Like, could it be intelligent but not conscious?
Exactly. He directly engages with ideas like John Searle's Chinese room thought experiment.
The one about manipulating symbols versus actual understanding.
Precisely. Can a complex system like a computer or maybe this alien truly understand or feel just by processing information incredibly well?
So Watts is challenging our whole human-centric view of what intelligence even is.
Absolutely. This alien thing might be a hyper-advanced information processor, capable of complex actions, strategy, but maybe without any subjective experience, no lights on inside.
That's unsettling.
Deeply. The crew's attempts to communicate become this disturbing exploration of our own limits. The possibility of minds so alien they're just fundamentally incomprehensible.
And the ship's name, Theseus, that sounds deliberate. The ship of Theseus paradox, identity and change.
Exactly. It resonates perfectly with the transhuman crew, the nature of the alien, all these questions about what constitutes a self.
It sounds like a book that definitely doesn't give you easy answers.
Oh, not at all. It leaves you wrestling with huge questions about intelligence, consciousness, long after you finish. It's a kind of cosmic horror, but on a really intellectual level.
Wow. Okay. So from the cold, philosophical void of space, let's maybe journey to the vibrant depths of a very different kind of world. Joan Slonczewski's A Door into Ocean.
Yes, a great transition. Joan Slonczewski. She's a distinguished biology professor at Kenyon College.
And her specialty is microbiology, E. coli research.
That's right. Significant work in that area. Loads of publications, thousands of citations. She's a serious scientist.
And you can really see that biology focus in her fiction, right?
Oh, definitely. Biology, genetic engineering, microbes are often front and center. A Door into Ocean won the Campbell Award, and it's the first book in her Elysium series.
So what's the setup in this one?
It's set in the far future, on this water-covered moon called Shora, and it's inhabited by the Sharers. They're an entirely female society, genetically engineered, and they live in this profound harmony with their huge ocean environment.
Harmony how?
Well, for one, they've even evolved or engineered themselves to breathe underwater using symbiotic microbes.
Wow, okay. That's using biology.
Exactly. And their entire culture is built on principles of nonviolence and this egalitarian philosophy. It has echoes of Quakerism, actually.
Interesting. So the biology isn't just background, it's tied into their whole way of life.
Intricately woven in. Their genetic engineering isn't about creating weapons or super soldiers. It's about sustainable coexistence with their ecosystem.
And the nonviolence.
It's not just a philosophical choice. It seems deeply embedded in their biological understanding of life, their interconnectedness with the ocean. Apparently, their language even lacks a concept for one-directional violence.
No word for attack or kill?
Something like that. It's fundamental to how they perceive interaction.
So the conflict must come when they meet someone who doesn't share that view.
Precisely. Slonczewski doesn't just present pacifism as a perfect solution. She even introduces internal challenges for the sharers.
Like what?
Like they discover stone on their world, which kind of challenges their belief that everything is inherently alive and interconnected in the way they thought.
So it forces them to question their own worldview, too.
Exactly. It's a really nuanced, thought-provoking exploration of culture, biology, and the sheer difficulty of maintaining peace and understanding between fundamentally different ways of being.
All filtered through that deep scientific understanding of biological systems. Fascinating.
It really is. Okay, so for our final stop on this tour, a novel by someone who needs almost no introduction.
Carl Sagan. And his novel, Contact.
Man himself.
Astronomer, astrophysicist, contributor to genetics, physical chemistry, professor at Harvard and Cornell, and of course Cosmos.
The ultimate science communicator, maybe.
Quite possibly, a true giant. And yet apparently he still humbly thought Asimov was the more intelligent of the two.
Amazing. Sagan's passion for the possibility of extraterrestrial life just infused everything he did, didn't it?
His research, his public outreach.
And Contact is unique. It's his only full-length work of fiction. Interestingly, it started life as a screenplay he wrote with Anne Druin, who he later married.
Oh, I didn't know that. So when the movie didn't happen right away.
He adapted it into the novel. Skillfully done, too.
And the story centers on Eleanor Arroway.
Right, the brilliant, very determined SETI scientist.
Who, against a lot of skepticism from the mainstream scientific community,
makes the big discovery, detects this complex, clearly artificial signal from aliens.
And it's not just noise. It's got prime number sequences.
And incredibly, a playback of Earth's very first television broadcast, Hitler, opening the 1936 Olympics, weirdly enough.
Right, that detail.
Yeah.
And this discovery just ignites a global firestorm.
Yeah, everyone grappling with the implications, philosophical, religious, political. What does it mean that we're not alone?
What's really compelling about Contact is how Sagan, using his expertise, details the science of it all.
The detection process, the deciphering of the signal, it feels authentic.
He doesn't shy away from the complex societal and political fallout either, does he? How the world would react.
No, he explores that very realistically.
Yeah.
And through Ellie's character, the novel really highlights the challenges women faced and still face in STEM fields.
That felt very poignant and important. Still resonates today, sadly.
It does. And Sagan, being Sagan, even takes seriously the possibility of really advanced tech implied by the message.
Like faster than light travel, the machine they build.
Exactly. He grounds even that really speculative stuff in plausible, if highly advanced, scientific principles derived from the message itself.
And the novel beautifully explores that tension, doesn't it, between reason and faith?
Yes, the interplay between scientific inquiry and deeply held belief in the search for knowledge, for meaning.
It's fascinating, too, that he got a huge advance for the book before it was written. Shows his stature already.
Definitely. And it became a massive bestseller than that successful movie adaptation.
He really did bring the wonder of, billions and billions, or maybe just millions and millions, as he actually said.
Right.
The wonder of the cosmos and the possibility of life out there right into the mainstream consciousness.
He truly did. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, what's the big takeaway from looking at these 5 novels?
For me, I think it's the extraordinary power you get when you fuse that rigorous scientific understanding with the just boundless creativity of fiction. These aren't just entertaining stories, are they? They offer these uniquely informed, often really profound insights into huge questions.
Questions about the universe, our place in it, what knowledge even is.
Exactly.
Yeah. And we really hope that for you listening, this deep dive has been a good shortcut, a way to appreciate these important books.
Spark some of those aha moments.
By seeing how the authors' actual scientific lives really shape these imaginative, enduring creations.
So maybe a final thought for you to chew on. Which of these scientists' backgrounds do you think most profoundly shaped their sci-fi?
That's a good one. Or maybe, how could the insights from these fictional worlds actually inform how we think about real-world science challenges?
Or possibilities today? Lots to think about. We definitely encourage you to explore these authors and their work further.
Absolutely. They offer so much, both as scientists and as storytellers.